In this episode, I'll show you how to use a mirror to add depth to your headshots.
AdoramaTV presents Exploring Photography with Mark Wallace, where you will learn innovative techniques on shooting a wide range of photography. Here's your host, Mark Wallace.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama. Have you heard? Adorama is more than a camera store. Get more info at Adorama.com. Hi everybody, welcome to Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace. Well, in this episode of Exploring Photography, I'm going to show you how you can take a picture that looks like this and make it look like this. And all of this is done using something I call failing with purpose. In fact, I have this shirt on that says failure is always an option. That's a quote from Adam Savage from Mythbusters, and I love it. And the reason I love it is because a lot of times in the studio, what I like to do is just play around and see what happens with no expectation of success. And sometimes I create something that I really like. And that happened one day. Sharon came into the studio and we were playing around trying to figure some new stuff out. And we discovered something that works really well by adding a mirror and some clothes and some bubble wrap to a photo. And so we got some really cool stuff just using a single source of light. In this instance, we had a Profoto D1 500 watt second head. That's it, no modifiers, no softboxes, no beauty dishes, nothing. So first, let's talk about the problem and then explore the solution. Well, let's start with the problem with our setup. Now, what I've tried to do here is mimic what it would be like to work in just a normal single or double car garage. And if I pace this out, it's 20 feet, it's a little over 20 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a little over 6 steps. So it's not a really large space. And that causes problems because I really want to use a long lens. I want to use a 70 to 200 millimeter lens so I get nice compression for this headshot. And if I don't have a full frame camera, I really have to get back a long way. And even with my full frame camera, I have to be back from Sharon's face a little ways. And so that's really eating up the space. Now the other thing we have going for us that could cause problems is we have this flash. This is a Profoto D1 head, and it's a great head because it has some diffusion on the front built in, but it's just really hard light. So we want to try to figure out how we can shoot with just hard light with no modifiers and make it look good. Maybe you have a speed light or a different kind of flash. It just has maybe a reflector but no modifiers. It can be problematic because the light doesn't look great on your subject. The other problem we have is this nasty background. It's just this white wall, and there's just really nothing of interest at all to that white wall. So I'm going to take a picture. We've already metered this at 3.2, so we're shooting with a wide open aperture to sort of get nice shallow depth of field. But it's really not going to do much for us in this situation because there's no interest in the background. So let's take a picture here. So Sharon, look right at me. This is a really tight headshot. You're looking great. And here we go. Perfect. Now look at that shot. Just nasty. Has nothing of interest at all. It's just really hard light. The background is flat. We got to fix that. So next, let's look at the solution. All right, well, let's talk about the solution to our problem. It's really, really simple. So what I did was I already rolled out this mirror right here. And what this mirror is going to do is effectively double the size of our studio because it's going to give us a brand new background. What is the background? Well, it's two things. One, it's going to be this light. This light is actually going to reflect in the mirror. It's going to come back and it's going to give Sharon a nice kicker light around her head. So it's going to look like we have two lights, even though we only have one. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to take that nasty white bland wall and we're going to make it colorful and give it specular highlights and give it some interest by just putting junk behind me. Now the key to this is the mirror and this junk right here. So this is a wardrobe rack with a bunch of different colors. We have reds, we've got some blues. We have lots of shiny things on this rack. So we have this bubble wrap here specifically because the background that's going to be reflected in the mirror is going to be out of focus because we're using a wide open aperture. So we're getting shallow depth of field. Shallow depth of field gives us bokeh, and things that have specular highlights, like really reflective bubble wrap, are going to show up as little sparklies in the background, and that's the key to making the background look interesting. So the cool thing about this is whatever you have in your garage, if you have tools, a tool rack, you got anything that's shiny, clothes, anything with color, you can experiment and throw that behind you, and you'll get some great things that show up in your picture behind the subject. So I'm going to grab my camera here. And the thing that is that's important is I don't want to show up in the photo, and I don't want this light to show up in the photo either. So I'm going to shoot right back here, and I'm going to move around, and so the light is actually hidden behind Sharon's head. And when I take a picture, what will happen is that light is going to reflect off the mirror. It's going to give her a nice kicker light, and things are going to look great with this out of focus, nice specular highlight stuff in the background. And you can see we just took a photo and made it look awesome. All right, well, there's a bonus here, and that is a lot of you, I'm sure, are asking, hey, Mark, what the heck? What if I have a light modifier like a Magnum reflector or a beauty dish or a softbox or something that is different than just a bare flash? Well, the cool thing is if you make your light source larger, you're going to get a larger reflection behind your subject, and so your kicker light's going to be bigger and it's going to look really cool. If it's too big, well, things are going to show up in the mirror that you don't like. So we tried this with a softbox and it did not work out so well, but the Magnum reflector, big, nice, hard, round reflection looks great. So here's an assignment for you. I want you to try this out yourself and see what happens when you use different light modifiers, and post those to your Facebook page, post them on Twitter, and then make sure I know about it. So I'm on Facebook at @JMarkWallace, and I'm on Twitter at @JMarkWallace, and Adorama is on Facebook and Twitter as well. So the links are right here. Make sure you post your stuff so we can see what you're doing, experiment, and tell us what happened. All right, well, that is an easy, quick way to change your lighting setup from bland to bam. And we just did it using a mirror and some trashy stuff and a single strobe. Remember to experiment and try this out. Try different backgrounds, different mirror sizes, different lights, different light modifiers, and let us know how your stuff works out, because I'm really interested. And don't forget to subscribe to Adorama TV, because we have tons of tips, tutorials, and in-depth videos that tell you all kinds of things, not only about photography, but about video and gear and reviews and all kinds of stuff. So hit the subscribe button right now so you don't miss a single episode. And I'll see you again next time. This week, I'll show you how to use a mirror to make a headshot look sexy. Behind me here, we have this wardrobe rack with, what the heck is this? Yeah, it's, what is this stuff called? Pop Rocks is what, bubble wrap. Gosh. And I'm like, it's this stuff. Bubble wrap. In fact, here's a motto: failure is always an option. Sorry. Yeah. Here's a motto. Here's a motto. All right, sorry.
For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. Place your order by 8 p.m. and it ships the same day. Plus, next time you're in New York City, be sure to visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.